Mnakubaliana hiyo ama tuendelee kutumia joka? Zitupewe gani? Paramilitary training and guns. Yeah, because things are very bad. I've also seen Teacher Service Commission interdicting teachers because they have run away for safety from insecurity-prone areas. They must consider life first. A teachers run for safety. And how going to go interdicted? Sure. That's being inhuman. And that's what I was saying, that the Teacher Service Commission must be more humane, more friendly, and stop being a teacher suffering center. Life must be given priority. Nothing that comes first is right. Namba moja. So hiyo ya guns, mimi nataka nijue kama ni wangapi hapa by show of hands wanakubaliana kwamba walimu waanze kupewa paramilitary training na wapewe guns for their own safety, especially in security prone areas. Haya, mnaona hiyo? Tunakubaliana sisi wote. Combat power. Paramilitary training.
Leaders from Mandera County have asked the Interior Ministry to increase the number of security officers before the national exams kick off next week. And the leaders say the region has suffered teachers' shortage after those deployed left due to security concerns. And the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Kithure Kindiki, should ensure the exams are well manned.
We are insecure, but we are saying the National Examination Council, together with the Ministry of Interior, the police, the DCC, and all those concerned, they should make sure, as they have always done in the past, that national examinations are done without any worries, without any gap in security.
There won't be any hiccups as many people want to imagine. Otherwise, let everybody rest assured that the exams, the security of it especially, is going to be top-notch. And
the Anglican Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit has stressed the need for the Kenya Kwanza government to reconsider its taxation policy. Ole Sapit says the taxation policy has highly contributed to the high cost of living that many Kenyans have been complaining about. He spoke during the 40th anniversary of the Anglican Church in Uasin Gishu County, and Sapit noted that the tax burden is impacting all Kenyans, especially those from the lower class.
Our counties having enough and in abundance, we will have less means of conflicts. And that's our urge for all Kenyans. We need a united country. We need a Kenya that will focus on every part of the nation to develop, and that's our call to every county government and also to the national government. That as a plan for every Kenyan, whether their political persuasion or religion may differ from yours, we all belong together, and we shall grow and thrive together as a people, and we can go far together.
Now to Meru County, where the County Assembly earlier on Wednesday started debating Governor Kawira Mwangaza's impeachment motion. The motion was presented by the majority leader, Evans Mawira Karia, who suggested 7 counts that warrant Governor Mwangaza's impeachment. While representing Mwangaza, lawyer Danstan Omari has castigated the Meru County Assembly members for failing to follow the right procedures in establishing 7 counts as grounds to impeach the first county female governor.
Of this county, that is Article 2. A person who can act, Section 4 of the Public Appointments Act, by appointing one Kenneth Mweti, Section 45, 55. And we, the representatives of the people, we have made a decision, Honorable Speaker, that we must bring back the glory, bring back the dignity, bring back the Meru County that we knew, Honorable Speaker, that was avowed and honored all over in this country and beyond, Honorable Speaker. If we win, we will win for our mother and Meru County, and if we die, we will die for our mother and Meru County.
The governor's allegations against her are based on law. Do we ourselves close our ears from following the law? And we say we must defend the law. against the governor, but the law cannot be enforced against us. Members of the county assembly, that is the question before the speaker and before you. The public participation, if ever it was done on a wrong path, on a wrong locality. Lastly, on a question of law still, who was the public participation targeting? Look at the summons. The summons are in regard to a person called Notice of Motion for the Removal of the Governor Meru County, Honorable Bishop Kawira Faith Mwangaza. Who is that person?
Now, the Office of the Ombudsman, in collaboration with Samburu County Government, has said it's working on strategies to design units that will enable the citizen to get important government information, as well as to know legal issues in all government offices in that particular county.
Speaking to journalists in Samburu County headquarters after having a meeting with stakeholders from the office, Samburu County Deputy Governor Gabriel Lunengwesi has said Samburu County government through the Office of the Ombudsman will help address and involve them. The leader also stated that all servants working in Samburu County government offices will get training that will enable them to know their responsibilities better. Lunengwesi has promised that Samburu County government will achieve the best environment for the Office of the Ombudsman to ensure that all targeted strategies are successful. The Deputy Chairman of the Ombudsman, Washington Sati, in his part said the office would also be responsible for providing a detailed explanation to the public on projects developed by the county government. At the same time, he has said tomorrow the Ombudsman will organize a meeting in Maralal, Samburu County to motivate the citizens about his presence and the duties that the office aims to implement.
Commission for Administrative Justice ambaye pia wanaitwa Ombudsman ambaye wametutembelea leo kuona kutengeneza mikakati fanya tutafanya kazi pamoja kama county, na kwa niaba yangu na kwa niaba gavana wetu Honorable Latili Lelit, mimi nawakaribisha hao wote hapa hivi tutafanya kazi pamoja. Tumekuwa kwa ofisi yangu tukajadiliana venye tutafanya kazi pamoja. Kama venye mnajua ofisi ya Ombudsman inadili na issues kuhusu complaints. Kama county tumeshughulika na mambo ya draft, ndio tutengeneza draft ya kutengeneza mambo to do with access to information, na pia watu watapata kupeleka complaints zao wapi.
Venye Deputy Governor amesema, tumekuwa na mkutano mzuri sana na yeye katika ofisi yake na wafanyikazi wenzake, timu yake kutoka katika different departments. Tumeweza kuzungumzia ni njia gani tutaendelea kufanya kazi pamoja ili tusaidie watu wa Samburu County wapate njia za kueleza malalamishi yao ambayo wanaweza kuwa nayo kuelekea ofisi zote za serikali. Wengi wanaweza kosa kujua ni wapi watapeana malalamishi yao, lakini ofisi ya Ombudsman imekuwa kwa miaka 10 sasa. Na ofisi yetu ya karibu iko Nyahururu, lakini tuna mpango na mikakati ya kuhakikisha kwamba pia kutoka kwa support ya county government tunaweza kuwa na ofisi hapa pia. Ofisi hii kazi yetu kuu ni kwa mfano watu wanapotafuta IDs, kwa mfano hapo wanapotafuta certificate ama vyeti vya shamba, kwa mfano watu wanapokuja katika ofisi hii ya county na hawapati huduma kama vile ambavyo wangependa, ofisi yetu iko pale kwa kuwasikiliza.
Right, now to the newspaper review. And I'd love to kick us off with what is happening on the Star concerning the examinations, national examinations that have already started for the KCSE, which began on October 23rd. And there are those that are set to start October 30th, including the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and the KEPSEA, that is for grade 6. So 15 choppers to airlift KCSE, KCPE papers, that is on the Star. 15 choppers to airlift KCSE, KCPE papers. Some 3.6 million candidates will sit the national examinations across 72,252 examination centers across the country. The ministry is set to spend about 500 million shillings to transport exam papers to flood-prone areas through helicopters. And that is a story that has been covered very well on the Star on page 4 to page 5. That gives a view of just why this is necessary, because of flooding that has been predicted, or the heavy rains that have been predicted by the meteorological department. So there are areas like in Naivasha, in Nakuru, Mombasa, West Pokot, in Kericho, Elgeyo Marakwet, so many areas that are expected to experience landslides, that are expected to experience flash floods, also the heavy rains that I've just talked about. It is expected, of course, that it is the jurisdiction and the responsibility of the Ministry of Education to ensure that every candidate will be sitting for this exam. So 3.6 million candidates will be sitting for national examinations. And like I've said, it's 3 exams. The last batch of the 844 system, that is the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. This is the last cohort. After that, then we will have fully switched to the CBC curriculum. Also talk about the KEPSEA, the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment. Those are the grade 6, what we call the CBC cohort. The KCSE examinations, like I've said, some papers have already started, including French orals or the languages orals, as well as the Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment for learners with special needs. So the key issue here has been how to do away with examinations cheating. And if you look at the trend in 2022, about 68 cases of cheating were reported. In 2021, 441 cases. In 2020, 287. And then in 2019, 1,309. And subsequently in 2018, 4,519. So if you look at the trajectory, basically, exam cheating cases have been falling, despite a huge speculation about what happened in 2022, to which the Education Ministry denied those particular allegations on cheating. So 15 choppers to airlift KCSE, KCP examinations. Also top of the page on the Star, Chelugui distances himself from the Qatar job scams, says he was just doing his job. And this was a headline that had been published on Wednesday, that is yesterday, on the Star, that linked CS Chelugui to Qatar job scams. But now he says he had no link with that particular firm and he was just doing his job. Now let's switch to what is happening on the Standard newspaper. Top of the page, it talks about the flying president. President William Ruto was a penchant for flying, or has a penchant for flying. So great is his love for travel that it appears he cannot pass up any opportunity. So far, he has been abroad 38 times, even as back at home little seems to be moving from the university funding crisis to the high cost of living quandary. So basically what the Standard has put up is a map of just all the countries, or most of the countries that he has been to. Well, he has been to Belgium, he has been to China, he has been to, DRC, he has been to Djibouti, to Egypt, Eritrea, Germany, Israel, for a visit each. Now, he has visited Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, and United States 3 times. He's visited Burundi, France, and the UK 2 times each. So the flying president, that is how the Standard has put it, continues to talk about his love for traveling that sees him spend 1 day out of 5 abroad. At the moment as we speak, he's out to Saudi Arabia. Now, if you listen to just what some of the analysts are opining, Martin Wandati says Ruto has come out very well in championing for Africa, and it seems his pitches resonate well with the continent and beyond. Stephen Mutoro says, much as there are several benefits, the cost of the trips are also depressing and burdening the country. We also have Nelson Koech, the National Assembly Defense Chair, says the head of state has held several meetings abroad, and that has unlocked a lot of investment in the country. So the opinions vary. There are those who feel like the trips are beneficial, not just to Kenya, but also to Africa, and they see him as the groundsman for the African countries and is always perhaps saying the right things at the right time. While there are those who feel the trips are very much unnecessary and there are no direct improvement or development considering what the country is having to battle with at the moment. So Ruto has been to 38 countries and 45 cities so far, and the president has inked bilateral agreements and staged Pan-Africanism renaissance. So there have been comparisons to just his trips and the predecessor's trips. And according to the Standard, Ruto's predecessor, Uhuru Kenyatta, visited 53 countries during his 10-year tenure. Basically, across all the 10 years that he was in office, he made 53 trips to other countries. Now, if you keep a keen eye, or if you do a comparison of just that and what the president currently has done, means by the time he concludes his 5-year term, that is in 2027, his trips could be more than that. Also, it says, Uhuru made 151 trips across the world, including 20 trips to Addis Ababa, 11 trips to Kampala, 10 to Tanzania and Rwanda, 7 to US, 6 to South Africa and United Kingdom, and 5 to Zambia. Uhuru's favorite destinations were Belgium, China, France, and Southern Sudan, and the island of Barbados, where he visited twice. So there have been a lot of comparisons as well with other presidents across other countries of just how many times they have been out of the country. And I believe I came across one that says Joe Biden has just been to 3 African trips, or has been on 3 trips to Africa. And so there's a lot of comparison, of course, on just that, but the biggest perhaps cry is of the burden it has to the economy, because these trips are funded by the Kenyan taxpayer. And you and I both know how much it takes to just keep a president safe in Kenya. So you can imagine how much it takes to keep that particular president safe in other countries as well. Also, pressure mounts on government to pay varsity funds. There's a story that is on page 6 and 7 of the Standard. Pressure is on the government to pay varsity funds after that new funding model they unveiled, where every parent, regardless of your background, economic background for that matter, you will have to pay for school fees for your child who is set to join first year come next year. So that is the KCSE candidates currently are the first cohort that will have to use this new university funding model, which, by the way, I must mention is a favor to universities itself, but does not do the parents justice, because the fees is higher contrary to what has been there before. If you look at just the probability of you getting loans, the probability of getting scholarships, well, you cannot exactly depend on them. Also, Mwangaza is shown the door again. She was impeached by 59 out of 59 MCAs who were at the county assembly yesterday. So that is a case that will have to go now to the Senate. It's basically a repeat of what we saw in 2022. First, the county assembly impeaches her, then they forward that to the Senate, and the Senate will have to decide whether it is a yay or a no on her impeachment. And if she survives this, she will definitely have a story to tell. And then also, Standard talks of last gasp heroics from keeper. That is on the UEFA Champions League, where Manchester United finally have something good to say about their goalkeeper, Andre Onana. Now to the Daily Nation, revealed Haji's NIS shakeup, National Intelligence Service shakeup, new order, where the DG, Director General Nordin Haji, has been a busy man. Since his appointment in June, the former DPP has been working on crafting a spy agency that is more responsive, effective, and aggressive in securing the country's interest. And this has come with both structure and personnel changes, including the agency's first female deputy spy chief. So Nordin Haji is the former Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, and he has been at the helm of the NIC ever since his appointment, and he has made quite a few shake-ups within the spy agency. He's appointed the first female Deputy General in the organization's history. He's trying to basically create his legacy at the NIS, which has majority at times has been blamed for complacency in its job. Also top of the page, Jubilee Wars, Uhuru's faction has the last laugh as Sabina Chege loses House post. Sabina Chege was removed as the House Deputy Minority Whip, and this is a battle that has been on for quite a while. Court orders here and there, but at last she has been ousted out of office, and her position she has been replaced by Mark Mwenje. And this was announced by the Speaker, Moses Wetangula, who finally made the changes in the minority leadership that saw nominated MP Sabina Chege replaced by Embakasi West Member of Parliament Mark Mwenje. Well, that sweet victory could not have come at a better time, just hours before the former president's birthday, and especially after Chege declared herself the leader of the Jubilee Party. So Chege Oster has dealt a blow to her faction after the Kiambu High Court dismissed their case seeking to block her removal and ordered them to exhaust all avenues of dispute resolution within the party. And then finally as well, talks about double loss for woman who was caught up in Mavoko Njiru land cases, lost her house in Mavoko and is on the verge of losing her house in Njiru as well. And she says it has been, you know, a progress that she has made within 20 years. So all 20 years gone down the drain as she loses Mavoko house and loses the Njiru land case as well. This is concerning the demolitions that have been witnessed across Athi River, which ended, I believe, Tuesday. Yes, the demolitions ended Tuesday, and which has seen a lot of damage, properties lost, schools, churches, houses, even as that is an active case as well that is in court. And then finally, approve police mission to Haiti. MP is now asked, as the country's National Security Council has asked Parliament to approve the deployment of at least 1,000 officers to lead a multinational security support mission in the troubled Haiti. Problem is, the High Court has put a bar order on that, saying, you know, they have suspended that deployment temporarily after a petition was filed by Ekuru Okot, the Third Way Alliance party leader, and 2 others to hold that deployment. Even if the MPs approve it, well, the court has put a ban on it. So that is something as well we'll be keeping tabs on. But those are your headlines. The Daily Nation revealed NIS shake-up. The Standard talks about the flying president, a president that has been out of the country or at least abroad 38 times, but no results are being seen at home. And then finally, the Star that says 15 choppers to airlift KCSE, KCP examinations. Those are your newspapers' headlines this morning. All right, so allow us to take a quick breather, but we'll be back in just a few minutes. Our conversation of the day, overcoming social media pressure. Is it pressure that we intentionally put on ourselves, or do we just auspiciously find ourselves in that position? That conversation coming up in studio. I'll be joined by a mental health advocate, Hemston Fred, as well as Reverend Maurice Ameda. Stay tuned for that. We'll be back in just a bit.
watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Through the morning rush and the buzz. Find a voice you can trust, a voice of reason, a voice of direction, and a voice of hope.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Live. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.
And I'm Samia Dika. Rise and shine, folks. We hope you are ready for an energizing start to your day.
Absolutely. We are here to bring you the latest headlines and trending news stories from the world of politics,
business and finance, health and lifestyle,
agriculture and sports.
So grab your coffee, sit back and get ready for a fantastic morning of engaging discussions and news segments.
Join us through our social media handles, #The Morning Live. This is Morning Live, exclusively on EBN TV.
In a fast-paced world filled with distractions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters: your relationship with God. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we take you on a transformative journey of building your faith, without which it's impossible to please God. A journey of introspection and discovery of who you are in Christ Jesus.
For you to walk with God, you should not crumble when you come under pressure. Kama umeokoka, sema umeokoka mpaka mbele ya president, mpaka mbele ya chief justice, mpaka mbele ya kila mtu. Hiyo ndio kuokoka ya ukweli. Kuokoka ya ukweli.
Enjoy a faith-filled environment of worship and ministry of the word every Tuesday and Thursdays from 9 a.m. with Reverend Felix Kevoy, exclusively on EBN TV. Every Thursday from 8:30 p.m.
Listen, every man needs God. And every man needs to learn to humble himself before God.
Enjoy teachings from Pastor Chris Oyakilome.
Here's what the Lord is instructing you to do. Prepare yourself in the Word of God. Feed your faith. Prepare yourself in the Word.
Build your faith and get to know who you are in Christ Jesus.
Feed your faith. There's a spiritual attack of some kind through sickness. Build your faith strong.
Every Thursday from 8:30 p.m. on EBN TV, transforming your world.
Hello, praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Joseph Musajawaza of Unfailing Love Ministries. I'm inviting you every Wednesday to join us on our program, Victory Through the Word. In this program, we teach you God's Word. We teach you to find solutions and answers to the struggles of life through the Word of God. Everything you ever go through in life, every pain, every tear, every worry, and every questions that you may ever have in this life. You may not get answers out there, but in God's Word, there are answers and there is a solution. The Bible says that God has exalted His Word above His name. In His Word, there is hope. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but His Word will always remain abide. I encourage you, engage with us as we study together, as you ask your questions, and let your questions be answered as you are built and as you hear God's Word. Our church is located in Umoja, Inako, near Olobon Hotel, just off Sango Stage along Moi Drive, and the court is known as Church Court. Give us a visit and your life will not remain the same. God bless you. Let's meet every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. only on EBN Television.
are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Through the morning rush and the buzz. Find a voice you can trust, a voice of reason, a voice of direction, and a voice of hope.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Live. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.
And I'm Samia Dika. Rise and shine, folks. We hope you are ready for an energizing start to your day.
Absolutely. We are here to bring you the latest headlines and trending news stories from the world of politics,
business and finance, health and lifestyle,
agriculture and sports.
So grab your coffee, sit back and get ready for a fantastic morning of engaging discussions and news segments.
Join us through our social media handles, #The Morning Live. This is Morning Live, exclusively on EBN TV. Right, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Morning Live. We are about to get into the conversation of the day. And this is something perhaps you have been a victim of, or, knowingly or unknowingly, of the social media pressure. You say things, you want them, or either somebody influences you on social media to act a certain way, to behave a certain way. So those are the things that we will try to just understand them. Is it something that is linked to our goals, our visions, or is it something that is linked to our fantasies as well? So that is the conversation of today, overcoming social media pressure. Engage with us on our social media platforms. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook on EBN TV. Our SMS line is 23059. Give us your feedback where you're watching us from, any questions, thoughts, comments perhaps that you might have concerning this, and we will happily sample them before we conclude this bulletin. So let me quickly introduce my guest in studio. On my immediate right, I'm joined by Reverend Maurice Ameda. Thank you so much for coming in. And just next to him is Hemston Fred, who is a young person as well as a mental health advocate. So thank you so much for both of you for coming in just to shed more light on this. So we'll just get straight into it, and I'll begin with you, Fred. From a youthful point of view, would you say you understand what social media pressure is, if there's any pressure at all?
Actually, social media pressure is something that is there and affecting a large number of youths, most of the universities, and the teen age group.
Yeah.
It affects them so much, and I can say social media pressure is something that affects them mentally, widely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you've said it is something that is there. What are those telltale signs that you look at and say this is somebody that, either knowingly or unknowingly is through a phase where they want to copy or do something that they see directly on social media?
Yeah, actually, in the mode of trends and maybe how people look, I say that I want to look like so and so is the person that I follow. Everything he does or everything she does, that's what I do. And find many young people going extra mile to use even the money that they're not supposed to be using on other things, just to make them familiarize or make them look like the people they want to be like in the social media phase.
All right, so I'll come to you, Rev. You've just heard from Fred. He says, it's something that, is also mentally linked to what we see on our phones. And, we live in such an era where we can't exactly say, let's stay away from our phones completely. We use it on a day-to-day basis. So what's the pressure really about, What motivates that kind of thinking?
The pressure is mostly about fitting in. Every human being wants to belong. And so belonging would mean being in the same standard. Belonging would mean identity. What is it that everyone is doing?
Yeah.
And so when everyone is doing it, then it looks like the normal. And now the easiest way in our current state to know what everyone is doing, of course, is in social media. So whatever anyone posts there, then that seems to be what is happening. And if that person is probably of your age or in the same career, you'd really want to identify. And so the pressure is in the sense that I don't want to be left behind. Yes, I want a sense of identity. I want a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And so that is what is pushing, just as Fred has said, pushing many young people, because they want to deal with this feeling of if I'm not to that standard, then I'm either backward, I'm not good enough, and so that kind of an identity that fits in, that is what is pushing and leading to that kind of oppression, in my view.
Yeah. There's also the aspect of sometimes you really don't know it's pressure that you're putting on yourself. It could be, unknowingly, you're unaware of what you're seeing and how you want to act a certain way, and sometimes you could be doing it intentionally. So how are we able to differentiate those two? This is somebody that is intentionally trying to fit in, intentionally trying to feel like they belong, but there's also some others that just don't know they're doing it, but they are.
I think when it gets to a point, it's still debatable whether you'd be doing it unknowingly.
Really? I feel you never know these things, yeah.
I'm assuming that everyone has an intention and a goal in life, what you'd really want to be. And so, and I said one place that we really get a lot of information is in the social media.
Yes, yes.
And so I see Cynthia probably dressed in a certain way or in a holiday somewhere. And then in my mind, I'm like, hey, I would also want to get to this standard.
Yeah.
And then that then becomes my goal.
Yes.
Then you'll find that I would start making decisions towards that end. Now, this to a certain percentage then, if I make gradual decisions as far as what I'm seeing, like looking at it as a set goal that I would be able to achieve at a certain point in life, but not an immediate. I think then if I go by your view, then that would be intentional. That I'm using you as an inspiration.
Yeah.
I've seen you on social media, and I love the levels that you are in, the standards that you've set, and that then becomes an inspiration to me. And I have the understanding that I might not get there instantly. Yes. Now, on the other hand, where it would probably be unknowingly is where it affects my behavior. In this sense, I've seen something that is trending on social media, and then all of a sudden, probably it requires a lot of finance. And then it affects my behavior, where people probably at the university, I heard Fred saying this, where we have the sponsors of the sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would not look at that as a stage that I would get to in time, but I look at it as something that is so immediate that I have to do everything possible to ensure that I achieve it.
Yeah.
So whether it means making use of my body in an immoral manner, as long as I finally get to get what I want.
Yeah.
And so for me, it gradually and unknowingly affects my behavior and morality. But in my mind, I'm pursuing something. So in my mind, what I capture is that I'm pursuing some good thing. But unknowingly, then this deteriorates my morals. And to a certain extent, it overstretches me for no proper reason.
Yeah.
Because probably we'll get into that, but then we'll get to realize then that everything in social media is not true.
Really?
And
everything is not true.
Yeah?
Everything on social media is not true.
Oh, no. I think I would retract that. Some of the things in social media is not true.
Most of it.
And Fred joins me by saying maturity.
So, Fred, let me bring you in here. Rev says it is debatable whether the pressure that we put on ourselves, we could be doing it either knowingly or unknowingly. You're doing it intentionally, but sometimes it just happens, and you don't think it is something that you saw. You just figure it out later. Oh, so I saw this and I started behaving this way. So is it debatable that this pressure that we are talking about could either come on us when we are knowing it or when we just don't know it?
Actually, it is debatable. When let me bring an instance where I'm in a particular group, and this my group, we tend to do some things that maybe fit us. But with me, I'm still not into that group the way they are. But how we get along with them and how we do our things. Yeah. Sometimes I might find myself getting into the system. Sometimes with even out knowing that I'm doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Because I'm trying to fit where my friends are. This is my group. I'm trying to be with them in a particular manner. Let's say today you want to go for this kind of dress code. Yeah. I don't have it. I cannot afford it. Maybe some friend of mine will give me like, oh, I'm so late today. I will give you a look. They said I will give you a look, and so that you may not be left behind. So in my perspective, I did not know, rather I did not see it coming that sometimes I would fit in that group. But again, there's a point that comes in that I know it. I want to do like they do. Yeah, so it is debatable.
Yeah. And also, both of you mentioned something very important. It all starts from the mind, mentally. What do you allow yourself to have the pressure on? So, our minds are very open. We get to see a lot of things. We get to hear a lot of things, and we're able to process it in our brain. So we can't really avoid it, can we?
At some point, we can avoid it. We can. Because if, let me say, someone, the person I'm following with all his kind of dress code, whatever he does, the option that I have, number one, I can either unfollow that person. Yeah. And even the doctor said that you can maybe keep off yourself from phone a day, from social media, from your phone, so that you get that mental wellness, so that you get that break. And when you the process of getting that break, it can help you to detach from the sense of belonging to a group that you doesn't fit. So it is possible you can detach
from it. Is it possible, Rev, to just completely put your mind away from that and say, nah, it's not healthy for me, I need to completely stay away from this particular app or from following this particular person?
No, for social media, I think it's a reality that we have to live with. For me, it's a place of fun, networking, and some are even using it for making money. Yes, business, and so for me, it's a reality that we cannot really say that a point will come that you're off social media. In fact, you'll be left, you'll be so behind that you might be shocked of things that are happening. However, I believe that I have power in what I allow in. Exactly. Because for me, life is a matter of choices. Just like there are several foods.
You can choose what to eat.
Yes, you choose what to eat and you leave the other. Yeah. We also have poison, but you've never taken poison because you know this one will kill me. Yes. But then this one will help me, is healthy for me. And so for me, that is what I would advise in this sense, that we need to be mature enough to sieve. I love it when Paul says in the scriptures, at least a pastor, I have to quote something, that all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. Yes. So this is to say that you have the freedom of doing anything you'd want to do, but then please, it's good enough to incline towards what is beneficial. Yes. So the choice, what guides you towards choosing what to allow in, who to follow and who not to follow, is the question, what value
does it add to your life?
Does it add to me? Because I cannot publicly or rather generally condemn social media, that we need to refrain from it. For me, that is not practical. But I can be able to choose what I want to take in and what I do not want to take in on the basis of what value does it add to me. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, when you understand the point of benefit from social media is when you can decide what to do with it or what not to do with it. When it comes to making money, there are some people who make money in the wrong way. Most of the youth, I'm talking about the youth sector. They look for followers. They want followers, and that makes them to make some pictures or maybe half naked so that many people can follow them. And this one affects them not only mentally, but the way Rev said it, immoral behaviors. It brings it that immoral behavior. Now, you cannot actually detach from it, but you can choose what to do that will benefit you when you want to fit in a certain place that is not your place. Now, you can decide, what can I do with this social media? Maybe we do say I have a band, and this band we have to publicize it on social media so that we get maybe something at the end of the day. So it helps, the publicity part of it sometimes help us to get maybe profit, but on which ground are you standing on?
Yeah.
Now this social media.
And you know, how you both put it, it sounds so simple, but yet it is quite a difficult task for a lot of young people. They just cannot seem to understand that, you know, there are things you can allow, but is it beneficial to you? Because most often than not, we'll look at cases on various apps of just somebody who's been living too large or somebody who's been portraying a particular picture, but in real sense, that is just not who they are. Why is it so difficult for people to, you know, to get it in that I don't have to live my life this way, which is fake. I have to live it in such a true way, Fred?
I think that comes when now we call it pressure. Now that is where the pressure comes in.
Yeah.
The peer pressure. Because when, let me say I'm in a particular group and all these people do one thing that maybe I'm exempted to it. I'll be having the feeling of loneliness. Like I will not be in the group. I'll be just lonely. So that feeling of lonely can also affect you mentally. Like, what have they done that I cannot do? What is it that I cannot fit in that group? So when it comes to that point, it also makes us not to be in a perfect mental status.
Yeah.
And for us to be in that particular mental status, we try to fit in. And when you fit in, now when you choose how to fit in, that is where the problem comes.
The how, yeah.
Now when we choose your peers, the situation now when you choose your peer, like now this is the group that I want to live with, this is the thing that I want to do. When you choose what to do with your life, you know, life is also like social media. You choose what to let in, follow, who to follow, you can unfollow. So when you let in, you see what to let in. When you let out, you see what to let out.
Yeah.
And how it affects you, it matters.
Yeah. Rev, is it just about the peers, what our peers are doing and we want to be like them? Is it just about that?
No, of course, that is an aspect of it, but then I think a mindset is also very key. I've always been asking in terms of identity, what is it that gives me identity? Yes. If my identity is derived externally, then I would not be strong enough to avoid the external pressure. Yeah. If my identity is derived internally in the sense that I appreciate myself as a unique being, and also appreciate others that I'm not them. I have my life to live. My path is different from their path. I would achieve things at different stages in life. You know, I read somewhere that I think it was comparing the different stages that we have in life, and so this person was saying that the former president of the US, Trump, became president at 70. Obama retired as president at around 55.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not about having and achieving things at the same time. We have different paths, and if I'm able to derive my identity from within, then what I will do with external pressure is simply to appreciate, Cynthia, you've gotten to that point. That's great.
Yeah.
So it will not, I would not feel like something is wrong with me by not being at the level that you are at that particular time. So there is the pressure bit, but then there is the maturity in terms of the perception and the mind.
Yeah.
That gives me the ability to sieve and look at myself as a unique being. That we are not growing at the same level. You're free to go to wherever you go. So there is the bit of the pressure whereby I'm feeling like, and that pressure only comes if my identity is derived externally. Yes, but if it's internal, and that's why I'm saying that the mentality thing would also be able to come. How do I view myself?
Yeah.
And where do I derive my identity from? Yeah, so the mindset also plays really.
Yeah, I'd love you to talk more about something that also is in the Bible called the appointed time. And one of the things I have noticed as a trend among the young people is that they look at each other. This is a 23-year-old, this is a 23-year-old. One of them is so successful, has a business perhaps that is doing so well. They've got that stable financial flow, while the other is still struggling. And they keep on asking themselves, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And, that perhaps push them, or that's where the pressure comes in for them to get into some dubious businesses just to get money as much as the other has. So if we could speak on that appointed time, for people to understand that our journeys are different. What I will achieve at 30 is not what you will achieve at 30. Yeah.
The divine aspect of it is that when God created us, He has a purpose for each of us. And then He has the time that this would actually be achieved. When I'm talking about this, it's a delicate balance, because I also don't want to encourage laziness. Where you just seated. You're just seated that I'm waiting for God's appointed time. Yeah. And as much as we have different paths and different stages where we achieve various things, that should not be a deterrent for me to work hard towards achieving my goal. And within this path, there could be failures here. Somebody could go ahead and somebody would be able to delay. And so for me, I really insist into living a life without comparing with someone else. Yeah. Sometimes I say, one time I think somebody tried comparing me with someone else, and I said, like, in the first place, we didn't even come from the same family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two different families.
Yes. If I was in the first family, hata ungepata namba yangu.
Ingekuwa ngumu sana.
Yes. So if you start comparing me with someone that is at that level, then it's really unfair in my view. So to me, I encourage people, live your life and work hard. Yes. Once you've set your goals, work hard towards achieving that goal. So that I don't want to peg the journey of my life on the success of another person, because I would ask, what if that person did not succeed? Will
you still compare?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So let's just know that God created us uniquely. He has a journey for us. He has different points and stages, and even different strategies that you would want to use to be a blessing to us. Yes. And so once I appreciate that fact, I will not be pressurized by my age mates that are succeeding. And just in case my failure is as a result of choices, and that is why I was saying that I would not want to also encourage laziness, that you can just sit wherever you are, that you're waiting for God's appointed time. Some of our failures are also due to choices that we make in life. And there is an age of maturity that you'd simply know that me biashara yangu kusema ukweli niliblanda, and so it's also good to be practical enough and ask yourself, have I really done what I was supposed to do? Are there areas that I've made errors? Yeah. If there are such, then you simply need to correct them, not sitting there and trying to wonder what is. And once they are corrected, then you wait for the time that God would just make you be all over.
Yeah.
Because for me, God deals with us different. Not long ago in Nairobi, I think when Kanjo were arresting some people, somebody whose trolley for
My eye smoking.
yeah, his was broken, and then this lady just knew that I'm done. And then Eric Omondi comes in and raises about exactly. And so for me, it's just doing what I'm supposed to do as I wait for God with the understanding that I'm unique.
Yeah.
I think there is an endangered group of the social media pressure. The team that now are being introduced to social media. Let me say, back in the university, when they come from home, they are now introduced to smartphones. Without being taken proper guidelines by their parents or rather by their guardians, they end up into various activities that maybe they will regret later in life. This group that are now being introduced in social media and smartphone things, they still doesn't know when to use it or what to do about it. But without the proper guidelines from the people who knows and the people, their guidance and parents, they can end up in a very bad situation. These are the people that maybe we can advise very, very well.
Yeah, so there's a trend I've seen on social media, and I'll pick one particular app, and that's the X app, which is formerly Twitter, where, you know, somebody might post something, and then there's a strong reason for another one to reply and say, you know, my business is doing well. I drove my first car in 2018, this and this and that. I can feed your whole family. And it's such a bad trend because, you know, there seems to be some bit of attitude and pride that comes with it. It's okay for you to achieve what you have achieved, but the problem now comes when you try to rub it on other people's faces. Is it a problem of them, or is it a problem of just that's how it is, Fred?
Actually, it's a problem. Okay, with them, they're trying to maybe demoralize you, maybe sometimes encourage you. It depends on how you get their point. Because when someone say that I can feed the whole of your family and plus extended ones, with you, you're saying that what am I lacking that I cannot be in that level of feeding? Maybe I cannot say that I can feed. Let me say my age mate is driving and I'm not. But the kind of replies is giving, maybe if I post something, maybe with my bicycle, and he has posted his maybe Mercedes, the reply that I'll get is not the reply that he'll get. But when I understand that my time for maybe doing Mercedes is not yet, I'll still hold on to it. It doesn't matter whatever they say. No, with social media, you have to expect being demoralized, being beaten from words. So if you're not strong enough, your mental health will be at risk. Yeah.
So Rev, under that example of a post that I've just given, you'll find people commenting and say, "Mi nilikosea wapi?" Lord, if you know, they say, do you kneel praying to the south or to the east and to the west? And it's always a bit funny if you look at it, but it just portrays the actual picture. Many of the people are not there yet, but because somebody else arrived earlier, now there's a problem. So what should I do when I come across those kind of posts? As a young person, what do I do when I come across that kind of a particular comment or post? What should I do?
The first thing I would need to advise is ask yourself whether the post is true in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is something that I'm quite aware of, that there are things that people would post and it's actually not true. Not long ago, I was interacting with somebody in terms of marriage counseling, that the pressure was from one of the spouses that you've never taken me to Dubai and so and so is in Dubai.
Yeah.
And then that photo that somebody posted and claimed to be in Dubai was actually taken in Mombasa. Yeah. And so with a few editing and it actually is, and it actually looks like Dubai. So the first thing I would want to ask, is this true? Yes. Number two, what I would also advise is that because it's a two-way thing. There could be somebody that is proud and putting all this there, and I love what Fred said. It could be to as a motivational, you know,
for you to work hard.
I started chicken farming with a feather.
I started a hotel with rice.
Exactly, yes, for you to work hard, and then, but instead again, it hits somebody that probably feels to be of that age, but has not achieved. Now, I talked of perception and the mind thing, and probably I would really be able to advise those who are reading this, yes, that can only be able to give me an assurance, so that I'm trying to look at it in a manner that I would be able to manage the stressor that can come with it, yes. If this person is probably of my age and he or she has succeeded, then that can be a motivation to me, that then there is hope.
I will also get
exactly.
That. Yeah.
So I would apply what I'm calling a positive thinking. You know, the half glass full of water or half empty.
Yeah.
Yes. The level of stress that I would get is dependent on how I perceive it. Yes. So that I can be able to get an assurance if this person was even sometime my classmate or this age mate, and probably we're working in the same area, and he has gotten to this point, then there is also hope for me.
Yeah.
I actually need not to give up in the path towards achieving my goals.
Yeah.
So I would advise giving it a positive thought, and also at the top of the list, just finding out whether it's true, because I could be giving myself pressure for a false posting.
Yeah, and earlier on, Rev, you talked about age as well, that, you know, it just gets to a level where you're mature enough to know what to consume and what not to consume. So is it always sometimes also about the age factor? How a 22-year-old will react to particular social media post is different to how, let's say, a 35-year-old would react. Is it different?
Yes. In my view, it would be different in terms of the younger one, or at the 22 or teenage age, the excitement would be so much. Yes. But then as you grow older, you even get much more exposed. You get much more information. We say information is power, but to get that information is empowerment. So as you age, you get a lot of exposure, experiences, and so there is much more into life than the Mercedes. You know, there is a point that you realize that it's about getting something I can be able to eat rather than where I eat it. So if somebody is eating at Kempinski and I'm eating at Kibandaski,
they're both kids.
So there is that experience, exposure, and a level of maturity that age brings that would also be able to work on your perspective and perception about matters. And so the responses would, in my view, be different.
Yeah. So Fred, is this like a stage? Everyone has to go through that stage? Is that necessarily how the clock would have to tick, that as Fred, you will definitely go through those 20s and you'll feel the pressure here and there, but when you get to 30s or the older age, you just sort of understand, you're more mature, you're more knowledge, you're more skilled, more empowered?
Actually, I can say it's a stage that we pass, and most of us do. The advice I can give on that is that when you feel inadequate and you see someone being adequate on that aspect that you want, let it be a motivation to you that maybe my time has not just yet come, but I'm planning to be like so and so. And that motivation should not make you to go an extra mile of doing something wrong to fit in. But Rev said that it should not encourage laziness. It shouldn't encourage laziness. And it should encourage you to work more hard to fit whatever you want to fit, by not living a false life. You know, the social media, whatever they post, most of it, like you said, that they are not real. Most of them are not real, and it is true. Because you'll find a raw picture, most people don't post their raw pictures. it has to be taken a process of
editing
and editing so that it maybe look like so and so. Because maybe my phone is just a simple Techno and someone is using an iPhone. There is no way my raw picture can be posted at
the same as the one from iPhone.
And the same as the one from the iPhone. So let me just an encouragement, like let me also work hard to have that, so that I should not feel me missing everything. Yeah, actually, that is true.
Yeah, perhaps a disclaimer to our iPhone. They shouldn't think we are against them having those kind of phones. But yeah, you know, it's just the reality of it actually. But also there's a different, I'd say, social media. The social media influencers, let me put it that way. These are people that promote a brand, promote particular services, promote particular companies. And I will tell you, the kind of life those people live, you wouldn't understand that perhaps they're just endorsements. So how now should we deal with the social media influencers? Yes, they're doing their jobs. That is their job, to influence people to use a particular product or to use a particular service. But we also need protection from them, don't we, Rev?
You need to be protected from somebody else's work?
I
think... I think for me it really narrows down to the user of these social media, because I can't tell that person to stop because he wants to make money.
Yeah, that's their job.
And for him to make or her to make money, he or she must have a following. And so these people might do anything possible, even hiring those big vehicles that you think they're theirs, but then they're hired, so that they have a big following and then they can be able to earn from it. So it's for me as the user of whichever social media platform to have the understanding that they're used for fun, networking, business. And so it's me who'd really be able to manage my expectations as far as the social media is concerned. Because the reality, which is a painful reality, is that you will never stop that person. The other reality is that we can never wish social media away. Yes? So if we get that understanding, that when these people are doing all this, some of them could be acting. There's one that I never thought was acting until I was proved wrong, and I was like, what? It was real.
Yeah.
I even used it as example, preaching, thinking that it's real.
Yes.
So if I get to understand that, because it's all about managing me than them. Yes, I manage my expectations. I deal with my perceptions. I deal with my way of analyzing whatever I see. Yes. Because for me, some of them, they are friends, colleague pastors that can post something. I know them very well. And I'm just reading it, and I know this is for fun, and I love it. People will take it so seriously. How can a reverend say this? How can a reverend say this? So I think for me, it's dealing with me as a user of social media than expecting those, as we call them, content creators, to be able to adjust. Because if they adjust to our expectations, they might not make
a living.
They might not make a living. Yes. And so if I don't manage me, then I would keep on getting annoyed, getting hurt, getting depressed for something that for me is a non-issue.
And perhaps I'll just add on to that as well, is that roles could be switched so easily. It could just be you on the other side, you know. You're the one who has to influence a particular service or a particular product. And then the ones you're seeing are the ones that have to watch it on your social media platforms as you do that. So it's just not castigating, but also it's a question of do you have the knowledge to know that it's just influencing, that is not the real life.
And probably just to add something in regard to the other side, the influences, I think it's also good to manage the extremes. Yes, with the understanding that there are other people that are watching this, and these people might not be mature enough to sieve, as we're talking about here. So I also just want encourage such influences that you can really be able to manage your expectations. Like for me as a pastor, yes, I can post something for fun, but there is an extent I might go to a certain extent that the following Sunday then I have no one in church because they're thinking
just you.
It's just me and probably my family. And so it's also good to manage the extremes, because I think it's Fred that mentioned that some are so sensually exposing that sometimes you even wonder if this person has a child or relatives. Can you even watch this? Yeah. So you also want to manage extremes so that you are moderate as you influence. I think character maintains. Even these corporates, they will also need a certain level of character. They would need a certain level of diplomacy, where you don't just. But I think some influencers have really gone to the extreme that might even turn back to them probably in years to come. Yeah.
So, Fred, earlier on you mentioned about smartphones, and just that as a parent, when your child is now, of the adult age, and you've just purchased that smartphone and you're giving to them, majority of times there will be no guidelines or guidance from the parents about, I'm giving you this phone, just know you'll come across a lot of things, but stay true to yourself. There's just no guidance. I remember when I was given a smartphone, no one told me, this is what will be on social media, this is what you should expect. It's just start your way and find your own way in life. Should that be the first step?
Actually, back in time, we lived with the parents who are not even exposed to this smartphone, so they don't know what this thing was. But nowadays, because things are exposed in the TVs, they tend to know. And a parent who understands and knows the effect of social media will advise his or her son that this thing that you're using, it will either help you or destroy you. And if the parent does not know, maybe he will tell his son that find a good peer group that will help you not to indulge in any other activities. If at all we have to follow people, maybe the brand ambassadors, I don't know how sometimes it might be, but we can just focus on their brands and not focus on their lifestyle. No, we tend to focus on their lifestyle more than the brands they display on us. Maybe someone is maybe trying to be ambassador of a certain lotion cream, but we are not looking the lotion cream, but we are looking at this person, the way he's dressed, the way he does, the way his lifestyle is. Because these people, apart from them being ambassadors, their life they live. And this life they live, they influence us mostly negatively, because we are trying to be like, so and so is kind of successful. What can I do to be like him? Or rather, this my full trouser is not well. I need to maybe cut it to maybe quite rugged, so that I can also be somebody like when they see me, they see Eric Omondi. When they see me, they see maybe Flaco. We go to gym because even our bodies are not even well, we are not built up enough. And the ladies, maybe they find ladies on maybe I want a man like so and so. And now when you approach a lady, he will tell you, no, you're not my type. This man or this boy will be, he won't be like he was before. Yeah. Like, I need to do something. I need to be like so and so. So if we can find a good peer group that helps us, we can appreciate that. In school we have we have a group that educates on social media. We call them the Kura. They will help you on how to be on the digital platform and manage yourself so well without being influenced negatively. And it can also help you to grow, not only wellness, but also you can find something to do that will make you earn something on the social media without being affected negatively.
All right, so gentlemen, as we wrap this conversation up, perhaps we could finish on a point of identity, which is key to what you mentioned earlier, Rev, that there's a there's a need to fit in, to belong, to have an identity. However, personal identity is so important. At the end of the day, what do you want people to identify you with? Isn't that such a key question that people should ask themselves anytime they are tempted to follow a certain person or to behave as like a certain person or to even speak like a certain person? Yeah,
sure. Yeah, for me, it's a very important aspect of life, just charting your own identity. In fact, I'm always a believer that what attracts is uniqueness. Yes, not similarity. Yes, I don't have to be like somebody else for me to create an impact in the society. Yeah. And so by that virtue then, it is important for me to be able to chart a path for my own identity, which I believe must be internally, and two, of course, is defined by our God who created us. He knows what special, unique thing that He put in me. And for me, that is what I really need to work towards identifying, so that I can be able to live my own path. It's only uniqueness that makes you stand out. Yes. Anything trying to end it, like if I try to identify myself with somebody else and all that, then that will simply make me fit in. And actually, when you stand out, you'll already attract. Yes, you don't need to follow someone so much to the point of even losing your morals just for the purposes of identity. So for me, it's very important for every young person and even adults. Sometimes we also struggle with this in our careers, you know. But for me, if each person knows that they are unique beings and they have a unique purpose, and just focus on that uniqueness, then you will create the same level of impact. Yes, you're creating an impact as a pastor, you're creating an impact as a journalist, and at the end of it, our presence is felt on earth. Yes, so I really need not to try and bring myself to a point that I'm thinking that that other person is better. If that person is better than you, if you feel so, then God could have not created you.
You couldn't be here.
Yes, by the virtue of being on earth, there must be something special, unique about you, that it's only you that could have made it possible on earth. And so by the virtue of existing in itself, that gives us an identity, and that is what we really need to work towards.
Yeah. Fred, perhaps you could also chip in on identity as well.
Yeah, because Rev has talked on personal identity. How do I know myself on a ground that I stand on? What I can add on is about choosing what to follow on social media. Choosing, we are the CEOs of maybe our lives.
Yeah.
We control whatever is happening with them. As long as I've identified myself, I can choose which path to go that will make me live a positive life without being influenced negatively, or rather try to fit like someone else. When I understand myself, I will not be having the feeling of inadequacy. I will not be having the feeling of fitting in, because the person I'm following is encouraging me. The person I'm following is not discouraging me, or rather is not telling me what to do and what not to do. As long as I understand myself, as Reva said, what am I? We were all created in the image and likeness of God. That's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
When we all understand this, before the devil steals our identity, we understand that God, we all have God's identity. We are created in the same image. So when I say one person is successful, I just should understand that my time is not just yet. I'm almost there and be there. When the people, there's a phrase that we do say that trust the process. When you trust the process, you will not be influenced negatively. Once you understand that my aim is to live a certain life, and this is what my goal is, I've set my goal, I'll be just okay.
All right. So, gentlemen, I'd love to give you each about 30 seconds just to wrap it up. Final word, 30 seconds. Rev, go.
Oh, thank you. Social media is never that serious. Let's take it for fun, for networking. And also to the parents, I really encourage that we teach our children values, because we'll never have a school of social media. Let's teach them values at home so that when they are exposed, they will always know what to do.
Right, we'll never have a school of social media. Fred, 30 seconds, go.
Thank you. Social media, we use it maybe for fun. When you choose fun, you choose life. When you choose bad things, to follow bad things, you choose destruction. So the better part of it, let me know. I should know what I'm choosing. Fun, or what am I understanding on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much to both of you. On my immediate right is Reverend Maurice Hameda. Thank you so much for coming in, as well as Hemston Fred just next to him, a mental health advocate. We hope that you've quite learnt a lot, and someone's laughing here saying, like, seriously, editing 2 of the photos. And she says, I'm also under pressure unknowingly. Says, thank you so much for this. Indeed, asante sana as well for watching, and we hope that you've learned quite a lot on just how you can navigate this particular era that we are in. It's unavoidable for you to have your smartphone. It's unavoidable to have access to all these applications that are on your phone. But what do you allow yourself to consume? And is it beneficial to you? Create your own identity, which is so key, your personal identity. And don't try so hard to fit in. You're okay the way you are. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourselves a wonderful morning ahead.